This is your girl, your Auntie Erica Trinell. And listen, this is not church. This is not religion. I'm not here to convert nobody or tell you what to believe. What we're about to do is go on a journey through the book of Genesis, but we're going to read it differently. We're going to break it down as the human system, the body, the brain, awareness, and behavior, how we actually operate. So when you hear words like light, darkness, water, land, we're not just talking about the outside. We're talking about what's going on inside you. This is not about picking sides. This is about understanding. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and start at the beginning and break it down. All right, so boom. Let's start right here. Genesis chapter 1 verses 1 to 2 says, "In the beginning, there was darkness, and darkness was on the face of the deep." Now let's not rush past that, because this is where people mess up. When it says darkness, it's not just talking about no light outside. Darkness is talking about a state where awareness is not running the system yet. That means everything is there, but nothing is being controlled properly. Think about a baby. A baby got a brain, right? The body works. The baby can cry, move, react. But the part of the brain that controls decision-making and self-control is not developed yet. That part is called the prefrontal cortex. So the baby is not thinking like, I should or shouldn't do this. It's just reacting. That's darkness. The system is working, but it's not aware, and it's not in control. Now when it says the deep, that's everything inside the body that hasn't been organized yet. We talking about your brain signals, your nervous system, your hormones, your emotions. All of that is active, but it's not structured. It's just running. So in the beginning, you're not empty. You're active, but you're not aware, and you're not in control yet. All right, now here's where everything shifts. Genesis chapter 1 verse 3 says, "Let there be light." Now don't rush past that, because this is the turning point. Light is not just talking about sunlight. Light is awareness. This is the moment your system goes from just reacting to actually being able to recognize what it's doing. Now let's bring this into the body so you understand it clearly. Remember how we just talked about a baby? A baby reacts, cries, moves, but it doesn't stop and think. Why? Because the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and self-control, the prefrontal cortex, is not fully developed yet. So the baby lives in reaction mode. Now as a person grows, that part of the brain starts developing. And now you can do something different. You can pause. You can think. You can say, hold on. I don't have to do that. That right there. That pause, that awareness, that's light. Now Genesis chapter 1 verse 4 says the light was separated from the darkness. That means now there is a difference between reacting automatically and being aware of what you're doing. Before light, everything is mixed together. You just doing stuff. After light, you can see, this is what I'm doing, and I can choose something different. Now let me make this real simple. You ever did something and then said, dang, why did I do that? That means awareness showed up after the fact. But when light is active, awareness shows up before you act. So instead of reaction right, pointing arrow regret, you get awareness right, pointing arrow choice. And that's the difference between darkness and light inside your system. All right, now this part right here is where people usually get lost. Genesis chapter 1 verses 6 to 7 says the waters were divided. Now listen, we are not talking about outside water. We're talking about what's flowing inside your body. When the text says water, we're dealing with things that move and flow through your system. That includes your emotions, your thoughts, your hormones, your nerve signals. All of that is constantly moving inside you. Now here's the key part. The division. The waters being divided means your system is now separating two different ways your body operates. Let me break that all the way down. You have a lower system in your body. That's your reaction system. That includes your amygdala, that part of your brain that handles fear, quick reactions, survival. This is the part that makes you jump, get angry fast, feel anxiety, react without thinking. That's automatic. Then you have a higher system. That's your control system. That's your prefrontal cortex, the part that lets you pause, think, make decisions, control yourself. So now your body has two operating systems, one that reacts and one that can control the reaction. Before this separation, everything is mixed. You just react. After this separation, now you can feel something and decide what to do with it. Let me make this real simple. Somebody say something crazy to you. Your lower system says, react, say something back, get mad. But your higher system says, hold on, don't do that. That right there, that back and forth, that's the waters being divided inside you. So now you're not just reacting anymore. Now you got a system that can either react or regulate. And whichever one you listen to, that's what controls your behavior. All right, now we're getting into something real solid. Genesis chapter 1 verses 9 to 10 says, "Let the dry land appear." Now again, we're not talking about outside land. We're talking about your body. This is the part people skip over, but this is where everything actually happens. Your body is the structure. Your muscles, your organs, your nervous system. This is what carries out whatever your brain tells it to do. So when we say land, we're talking about the part of you that actually executes. Now let's break this down real clear. Your brain sends signals. Those signals travel through your nervous system. Then your body responds. If your brain says, "Move your hand," right pointing arrow, your hand moves. If your brain says, "Speak," right pointing arrow, your mouth moves. If your brain says, "Run," right pointing arrow, your legs move. So all that thinking, feeling, reacting, that don't matter unless the body carries it out. That's land. Now here's the part people miss. Just because something happens in your mind does not mean it happens in your body. You can feel angry and not act on it. You can think something and not do it. So now the system is separated like this. You got thoughts, emotions, impulses, but then you got the body, and the body is what makes it real. Let me make this plain. You can think about arguing all day, but until your mouth opens, nothing happened. You can feel like hitting somebody, but until your body moves, nothing happened. So land is the final step. It's where everything inside you becomes action. And now your system is fully forming. You got awareness, you got emotions, you got reactions, you got control, and now you got a body that can carry all of it out. That's land. All right, now we getting into something real important. Genesis chapter 1 verses 11 to 12 says, "Let the earth bring forth grass, yielding seed, and the tree yielding fruit after its kind." Now listen, don't read past that. This right here is talking about how habits are formed inside your body. When it says seed, we're not talking about plants outside. A seed is an action, something you do, something you repeat. Now let's break this down inside the body so it's clear. Every time you do something, your brain creates a pathway. That pathway is a connection between your brain cells. The more you repeat something, the stronger that pathway becomes. So what starts as a choice turns into something automatic. That's the seed growing. Now here's the part people don't pay attention to. It says after its kind. That means whatever you plant, that's what you're going to produce more of. If you repeat anger, your body gets used to reacting in anger. If you repeat stress, your system stays in stress mode. If you repeat discipline, your body starts operating in control. Now let's make this real simple. First time you do something, you think about it. Second time, it's easier. Third time, you barely think. After a while, you just do it. That's your brain saying, "I already know this pattern." That's the seed turning into a tree. Now let's go deeper into the body. When you repeat something, your brain strengthens that pathway. Your nervous system adapts to it. Your body starts expecting it, and your hormones start responding to it. So now it's not just mental, it's physical. Your body is literally trained to behave that way. That's why people say, "I don't know why I keep doing this." Because it's no longer just a choice. It's a pattern. It's built into the system. So when Genesis talks about seeds and growth, it's showing you how behavior gets planted and how it becomes automatic inside your body. All right, now this part right here is about control. Genesis chapter 1 verses 14 to 16 talks about the sun, the moon, and the stars. Now again, we're not just talking about what's in the sky. We're talking about what's controlling your system from the inside. Because at this point, your body is built, your emotions are active, your habits are forming. But now the question is, what is actually running you? So let's break this down. The sun represents your strongest source of control. This is your awareness, when it's active. This is when you're clear, focused, and you know exactly what you're doing. In your body, this connects to your prefrontal cortex working properly. That's when you're making decisions, staying disciplined, and not just reacting. That's the sun. Now the moon. The moon represents reflection and emotional cycles. This is when you're not fully in control, but you're still responding. Your mood changes, your feelings shift. You might feel good one minute and off the next. This is tied to your hormones. Things like cortisol, stress, dopamine reward, serotonin mood. These change how you feel and how you respond. So the moon is influence, not full control, but it affects you. Now the stars. The stars are the smaller influences in your system. These are random thoughts, outside opinions, things you see, things you hear, little signals that come and go. They don't control you fully, but they can still affect your behavior if you pay attention to them. So now your system has levels. You got the sun, strong control, awareness. You got the moon, emotional influence, hormones and feelings. You got the stars, small influences, thoughts and outside input. And here's the real part. Whichever one is strongest at the moment, that's what's running you. If your awareness is strong, you in control. If your emotions are strong, they influencing you. If your thoughts and outside noise are strong, you getting pulled in different directions. So this part is showing you. Your system is not just one thing. It's layers of control. And you gotta know which one is leading, because that determines your behavior. Alright, now this part right here is about movement inside your system. Genesis chapter 1 verses 20 to 21 talks about creatures in the waters and birds flying in the air. Now don't read past that, because this is showing you how things move inside you before you even realize it. Let's break it down. First, creatures in the water. Water, like we said, is everything flowing inside your body. Your emotions, your hormones, your internal signals. So creatures in the water represent your deeper drives. These are the things you feel before you can even explain them. That sudden anxiety, that random irritation, that feeling like something is off. You didn't think that first. You felt it. That's coming from your lower system, your emotional and survival centers. That's your amygdala, your limbic system, those parts of your brain that react fast. Now let's go to the birds. Birds move in the air. Air represents the mental space, the thinking space. So birds are your thoughts. And look how thoughts move. Fast, quick, jumping from one thing to another. 1 second you thinking about one thing. Next second, your mind somewhere else. That's your brain firing signals constantly. Now here's the part people miss. Thoughts don't always come from you making them happen. A lot of thoughts just show up. Same with feelings. They show up first, and then you decide what to do with them. So now your system looks like this. You got deep feelings moving under the surface, and you got thoughts moving fast at the top, all before your body even moves. Let me make this real simple. You ever just felt irritated for no reason? Then your mind starts trying to figure out why. That's the feeling showing up first. Then the thought comes after. Or you ever had a random thought pop in your head, and you're like, where did that come from? That's the birds. That's the mental movement. So now you got deep emotional movement, fast mental movement, and both of them are happening before action. That means by the time you act, your system has already been moving for a while. And if you're not aware, you just follow whatever shows up. Alright, now we're getting into the part nobody can deny. Genesis chapter 1 verse 24 talks about the earth bringing forth living creatures, cattle, creeping things, beasts. Now listen, we're not just talking about animals outside. We're talking about the animal system inside your body. These are your built-in drives. You didn't learn these. You were born with them. Let's break this all the way down. Hunger. You don't have to learn to be hungry. Your body releases a hormone called ghrelin that tells you to eat. That's automatic. Sex drive. You don't sit down and decide to have desire. Your body produces hormones, testosterone, estrogen, that create that drive. That's automatic. Fear. You don't think your way into fear. Your amygdala detects something and triggers a reaction instantly. Heart rate goes up, body gets tense, you ready to move. That's automatic. Aggression. Sometimes something happens and you feel that heat rise up in you. That's your system preparing to defend itself. That's not learned first. That's built in. So when Genesis talks about animals, it's showing you that your body has a natural system of drives already operating. Now here's the important part. These drives are not wrong. They're necessary. You need hunger to survive. You need awareness of danger. You need these systems. But they are not supposed to run everything. Because if they do, you become reactive instead of controlled. Let me make this real plain. If hunger runs you, you overeat. If anger runs you, you react and say things you can't take back. If desire runs you, you make decisions without thinking. So now you got another layer in your system. You got thoughts, you got emotions, you got habits, and now you got instincts. And these instincts are strong. And if awareness is not leading, these instincts will take over. That's the animal system inside. All right, now we at the part right here that people read past. But this is the key. Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 says, "Let us make man." Now pause right there. It didn't say let me, it said let us. So now the question is, who is us? Now we're not going outside. We're staying right inside the system we just built. Because everything we just went through is already inside you. You got your awareness, your emotions, your thoughts, your impulses, your habits, your instincts. All of that is already operating. So when it says let us make man, it's showing you that the human is made up of multiple systems working together. Not one, multiple. Now let's break this down real clear in the body. You got your impulse system. That's your amygdala. That's what makes you react fast. You got your emotional system. That's your limbic system. That's what makes you feel. You got your thinking system. That's your prefrontal cortex. That's what lets you decide. You got your memory system. That's your hippocampus. That's what stores patterns and experiences. And then you got awareness. That's the part of you that can see all of this happening. Now all of these together make up you. So you're not just one voice. That's why sometimes you feel like part of you wants to do something, and another part of you is like, nah, don't do that. That's two different systems talking. One is impulse, one is control. Let me make this real simple. You ever wanted to do something you know you shouldn't do? That's one system pushing you. Then something inside you says, hold on, chill. That's another system. That's the us. So when Genesis says, let us make man, it's showing you that the human is not one single force. The human is a system of multiple forces, and whichever one is leading at the time, that's what controls your behavior. That's why you can know better and still do something else. Because knowing is one system, doing is another. And if awareness is not leading, the other systems will take over. All right, now we about to bring everything together. Now we moving into Genesis chapter 2 and 3. This is where the system becomes personal. Genesis chapter 2 verse 7 says, man was formed from the dust and given breath. Now let's break that down. Dust, that's the body, your physical structure, your muscles, your organs, your nervous system. That's what you're made of physically. Then it says breath was given. That's activation. That's when the system turns on. Your brain is active, your body is functioning, your nervous system is running. Now you're alive and operating. Now here's where it gets real. Genesis chapter 2 verses 21 to 22 introduces Eve. Now we're not about to play with that. Eve is the mind. This is the part of you that interprets, feels, gives meaning, and responds. So now the system is clear. Adam equals body, Eve equals mind. The mind processes first, and the body follows. Now we go to Genesis chapter 3. The serpent shows up. The serpent is the impulse, that sudden urge, that suggestion, that what if feeling. That's not your awareness. That's a trigger. Now watch the order in Genesis chapter 3 verse 6. It says Eve saw the fruit. That means the mind focused on it. Then it says it was desired. That means emotion got involved. Then it says she took it. That's the decision. Then Adam ate. That's the body acting. Now let's slow that all the way down so nobody misses it. First, the impulse shows up. Second, the mind locks onto it. Third, the feeling builds. Fourth, the decision is made. Fifth, the body carries it out. That is the exact process your body goes through every single day. Let me make it plain. You get an urge. That's the serpent. Your mind starts thinking about it. That's Eve. You decide to do it. That's the choice. Your body moves. That's Adam. Now here's the part people call the fall. The fall is not about fruit. The fall is when the system gets out of order. Instead of awareness leading, impulse starts leading. Emotion starts leading. And the body just follows. Now you reacting instead of choosing. Now you doing things before you even think. Now you say, why did I do that? That's because awareness wasn't leading. Now let's connect this to your body for real. When impulse takes over, your amygdala activates, your stress hormones go up, your heart rate changes, your nervous system shifts into reaction mode. Now you're not calm, you're reactive. That's the fall. That's imbalance. So Genesis is showing you something very clear. If awareness is not leading, your impulses, emotions, and habits will run your life. And once they run it long enough, it becomes your pattern. And once it becomes your pattern, it becomes your behavior. And that's how people end up stuck doing the same things over and over again. So everything we just broke down, it's all right there in Genesis. Light is awareness. Water is what's flowing inside your body. Land is your body. Eve is your mind. Adam is your body in action. The serpent is impulse. And us, those gods, those are the multiple systems inside you. This is not just a story. This is a system. And once you understand the system, you can see what's really running you. We're not here to follow. We're here to understand.